I believe the best medical book we have is the Bible. So let's have a look at why the Bible says the life of the flesh is in the blood. What does blood contain for it to be life? Blood carries the most vital element needed for life, which is oxygen. Blood carries also water, the third most vital element needed for life. Blood also carries nutrients, and nutrients certainly go into some of the vitals. The 4 vital elements needed for life, the 4 vitals, and you'll find that the blood's carrying these vitals. Number 1 is oxygen. You can go probably only 3 minutes without oxygen. It's the most vital element needed for life. The second most vital element needed for life is water. The third most vital element needed for life is sodium, and that's a surprise to so many people, because what have medicine told us about sodium? It's bad. You've got to stop it. The fourth is potassium. And that little wheatgrass shot, now it's not pleasant, okay? We don't take it for pleasure. I'm just warning you. But it's powerful, and it is very high in potassium. Potassium is one of the main nutrients that the blood carries. Sodium is another nutrient that the blood carries. I don't know if you've ever tasted blood, but it's salty. And Dr. Robert Thompson, who wrote the book The Calcium Lie, he believes the clearest indicator of a creator God is seawater, because seawater has the exact same mineral balance and proportion as is found in blood, as is found in body tissues. And by the way, the Navy, in the war, if one of their men needed a transfusion, they would transfuse with seawater, because seawater converts to blood very quickly, because it's the exact same mineral balance and proportion as is found in the blood in bodily fluids. Seawater contains 92 minerals. Of those 92 minerals, 30% is sodium, and 50% is chloride. And so this makes up the first crystals formed. So what man does is he scoops those crystals up, bleaches it, put aluminium with it. There's table salt. Table salt has 2 minerals. I'd like to suggest that this table salt has lost its savour. It's actually lost its other 90 minerals. And what does the Bible say? It says, "Ye are the salt of the earth. If the salt has lost its savour, it is henceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and trodden underfoot of men." I'd like to suggest that the Bible is actually talking about this table salt. Yes, it is a problem. Table salt will cause the blood pressure to rise. We need salt, but we need the balanced salt. And so the salts that you can buy today, and I'm pleasantly surprised how many countries today have salts, natural salts. And the salt that we use predominantly is Celtic salt. And Celtic salt comes from the Celtic Sea. Now, because the Celtic salt is getting difficult to get, Baja salt is another one we've discovered. It's also a hand-harvested salt. I'd like to also show you more about the blood. So the blood contains red blood cells, and those red blood cells are what carry the oxygen, the water, the nutrients, and take away waste. But the blood also contains white blood cells, and the white blood cells basically are our internal army. I trust as we look at the body and understand the body, you start to see that everything we need, we've got. We've already got it inside of us. But we are the ones that choose how much oxygen our blood is transporting. We are the ones that choose the viscosity of the blood. And I showed you yesterday, and I'll show you again for the people that weren't here. I used to do a live blood analysis when I was the health director at Misty Mountain Health Retreat. And the blood zooms around. In fact, it takes 1 minute for 1 drop of blood to go around the whole body. And there's about 10,000 in 1 little drop of blood. We put it under the microscope, it magnifies it, we put it up on the screen. But one day, I looked at a girl's blood, and her blood was like this. I've seen it a few times, and sometimes it's because I spoil the slide. Because you put the cover slip on the drop, and then you put that drop onto the slide, and then you put it under the microscope. But 5 blood slides later, it still looked like that. So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when I asked her, "Have you drank any water today?" She said, "I don't drink water." I said, "Well, I can't look at your blood." So I looked at her mother's blood, who was 25 years older, and it looked beautiful. And how much oxygen are these blood cells picking up? And when the blood goes through the lungs, it picks up oxygen like a little parcel. It's an unstable union, so that oxygen can be dropped again quickly in my toes, in my pancreas, in my liver. How much oxygen is this picking up? Can you see the surface area that's been lost? Purely because of dehydration. And we are the ones that choose when the water goes in, how much water goes in, start early.